financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by Thav Gross. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is I owe debt, but can't make bankruptcy work. Good morning, Brian Small.
Good morning, Ken. A pleasure to be here this morning.
This is a topic of your liking and your choosing.
Indeed.
Pat Simasco.
Hi, how are you?
It's a threesome today.
Yeah, I got a good question for you on that because a client came in just on that issue. So, client came in to do estate planning, right? And he was in a horrible car accident and he got a good award. So he's good on the financial side, but his girlfriend has the car that was driving, they didn't have insurance. So there's a big debt on the car liability. And they want to get rid of the debt, but without having to file bankruptcy.
That's going to be a fairly easy.
That's what I thought. It's not a
thing to
credit
handle.
card. It's more like a.
Well, before you get to that, could she, if it's girlfriend, boyfriend, can she file bankruptcy if he got the award? Or if they're living together, is that a problem?
The answer is maybe. So,
they're not married.
You must be a lawyer.
not married is
married.
fine. So technically, she's going to file a bankruptcy petition in her name only. However, if you look at the big picture, we have to look at the totality of the circumstances. And
Let's assume she has no income.
no income, but she's living with her boyfriend who's supporting her
bills.
and providing. And I used to call it the Donald and Ivana Trump syndrome, right? Donald is a billionaire and Ivana was a housewife. Is it fair that Donald is worth $1 billion and Ivana files bankruptcy? And the answer, Congress said no.
Really?
Yeah. You look at
What's the rule?
basically, again, looking at the totality of the circumstances. Do they work as a unit? Do they have separate finances? Do they have combined finances? Does he provide support to her? Is there enough support to
It's like
pay her bills?
imputed
If all those
income.
conclusions go in the way that they're a unit together,
Then generally the opportunity to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy is going to be eliminated.
But if they were just like recently together,
So the most common example that we use is that two people living together and they each provide something to the household. They split the rent, they split the utilities.
so if she was working and had some income and was paying her fair share, then she could conceivably discharge the.
That's correct,
Truck or car
depending
debt.
on what is left over from her side of the income and
Yeah,
her
if
side
there was
of the
nothing left
expenses.
over.
Yeah.
Then she would pass the means test.
Yes. Because
Wow.
because we only look
But
at
we
what-
want to. But our question was, you wanted to get rid of this thing.
Yeah,
without a
so
bankruptcy.
how do you negotiate a settlement with not a credit card company, but with
Who
the.
does she owe, like Ford Credit or something?
Yeah,
for
something like
example?
that, yeah.
I can give you. I can give you
Even
the
you
funny.
could give me
I
an
can give you the
answer on
funny
that.
example. I'll give you the example of my father, who at 90,
this, by the way, doesn't get you to the answer you.
No, I
But
heard this story 8,000
who at
times.
91 leased a car from Ford Credit, and then we returned it when he could
Yeah.
no longer drive, and they were caught and they sold it.
Yeah.
So there was a $10,000 deficiency. I'm just
Yeah.
making a number up. I think it was less than that. So they called me up and said, "Do you want to settle?" And the answer is no.
Yeah. What's
When
the
they
difference?
say, "Well, what? How much are you willing to pay?" Nothing.
Right. Why?
Because he had no money.
No, because he's old and he may pass away.
No.
No, he had no money.
because
But
dependent
was-
upon the source of your income.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things that I do when I'm assessing a client's need to file a bankruptcy, and I'm looking at their income. If they have no significant assets, they're not a homeowner. They have a leased car. They have just
They just have furnishings.
their furniture and furnishings, their clothing, and their income source is Social Security.
And their 1964 Mickey Mantle autographed baseball card
So,
that nobody knows about.
yeah. But no, so they have no assets that would be taken, and they have Social Security. Social Security can never be garnished. You can't take it from
Right.
somebody. So
Yeah,
you get
which is
you
my
get,
was
you
my
get a
father's.
Yeah,
civil
yeah.
judgment against
So what
somebody
do you
because
do then?
What, Dave?
You-
Will you tell them to answer the question off camera? They haven't answered my question yet. What do you do to get rid
Wait,
of it?
so in that case, you do nothing. In the
Yeah.
In that
example,
case,
you
so this lady's
Otherwise-
45. She's working. She wants to get the.
I
She
pick
finally
up-
got some
I
money.
pick
to,
up the phone and I call the lender.
Right.
And I say, we would like to settle with you on the deficiency. And then we negotiate back and forth.
That's what you
Sometimes
do.
I have to provide.
They got a little extra money they can throw.
I
at it.
provide financials,
It
proof
depends-
of income.
What's Ryan's favorite line?
It's individualized to the individual.
It is in
Close
this
enough.
context. If you have someone who has some income but very little,
Yeah.
and you can justify and show in documentation that they don't have the ability to pay,
Yeah.
and they could file bankruptcy,
Yeah.
then you're going to settle, and the other side will be rational
Yep.
and take a low amount.
So
if
the
you've got
cre-
somebody who's loaded with money, then your strategy is you can't give them any documentation. You don't want to overtly lie. You just say to them, "We're willing to settle,
How
avoid
much?
this problem."
Get out of it.
They
You
really
don't have to
think they should
build
pay.
up.
You don't want to
you
know, still give
overtly
you a
lie,
discount.
though.
You don't. So you don't
You
want
don't want to
to.
overtly lie. You
Credit-
want to tangentially lie.
Credit card, you got
Absolutely.
to not pay for a few months to get them fired up. Here, is just actively calls. Hey, we can get
Well,
you some
Well,
money.
you also
We'll try and
don't.
get
You
rid
also
of
don't be quick to pay.
Right.
So yeah, there's still the same process. There's going to be a sustained period of time where you're not paying because they have a process on the other side. If it's 60 days delinquent, it's going to be in this department. If it's 6 months delinquent, it's going to be in this department. And if it's a year delinquent, it's probably been charged off and sold to a collection agency.
Got it.
So
And going to the games, I don't want to say games you play, but
Well, it
strategy
is,
you play.
yeah.
You're the creditor, and you're asking if I know the client has money, then I don't want to tell the creditor that.
Right.
So they say, "Well, is she working?" I don't think she's working. I don't really know if she's working, but I know she's not making a lot of money. I know she can't pay her lawyer.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
How much are you willing to take? You've got to finesse it, is what it comes down to. Let's take a break. We'll come back.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Thav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Thav Gross today, 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
If your loved one is struggling with age-related issues, let our family help your family. Call Samasco Law now. We're family-owned and growing. Meet Joe Frizard and Kelsey Samasco, our newest superstars. We'll handle your issues with care, compassion, and dedication. At Samasco Law, we'll leave no stone unturned until your family is protected for the long term. We'll walk together. That's what families do. Samasco Law. Protect what matters.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Thav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're back.
So that case, you got the case settled, but there's always the issue where Grandma and Grandpa may pass away, and if their kid or grandkids are going to inherit money with all these big debts, you got to make sure you have that creditor protection, and so they don't grab it.
So let me tell you what I often recommend based on.
So we're talking about the kids.
Kids are in debt.
Or this is a boyfriend. If the boyfriend died and everything went to the girlfriend, then all of a sudden her creditors would be able to come on and grab it, or
that's
her new
correct,
boyfriend
unless
would
you
get it.
do something.
Right.
You got to do something ahead
And
of
so
time.
what we usually recommend in that type of situation, whether it's the parent who's got the money and the kid's got the problem, or the husband's got the money and the wife has the problem, etc., we do changes to the estate plan. We change the trust. We make it a spendthrift
Right.
trust with discretionary powers to the trustee. So the trustee, if you inherit money and it's part of a spendthrift trust, that means that the trustee doesn't have to give you the money.
He doles it out.
Right.
And if they don't have to give you the money, that means your creditors can't get to the money.
That was one of the articles.
Or you make sure that the kids, at that point when they're going to inherit, are debt-free by
Yeah. That's a
potentially
big one.
putting them through a bankruptcy ahead of time.
So and
Kipling,
even, and,
let
but,
me-
but if you
Kipling-
do that, if the
Get the
kid is going to
6-month
file
rule
a
too,
bankruptcy and mom and dad have the likely, if there isn't two parents that are inheriting from each other, you still want to update the estate plan, because if mom or dad is the sole parent left and they pass away within 180 days of the filing of a bankruptcy action, then the money that the kid would inherit belongs to the bankruptcy trustee and goes to pay the debts of
So
the
you
decedent-
double
of the-
cover it.
of the
You do,
kid.
you do the trust with the spendthrift clause, and then that way, just in case they go during
Right.
that 180-day
Well,
window, you're protected.
Or you got to update the medical power of attorney that says you
Keep
can't
them
pull,
alive.
can't
keep,
pull the
keep 'em
plug.
alive, keep them going.
So I wrote an article last week for Kiplingers, and the question was, hey, I got $1.6 million I'm going to leave to my daughter. Is that enough to provide a good inheritance for her retirement? And the answer, and a lot of the people, the answer is, well, yeah, it's plenty of money. But I said, you got to look at the kid. If the
Depends.
kid's a knucklehead and they're going to blow it in 2 seconds or give it to their boyfriend or divorce or bankruptcy, then you got to do that creditor protection versus
Hey,
giving it.
plus, how old is the kid?
Yeah, you know what?
I mean,
it's amazing.
1.6 is great if she can live off the interest
Yeah.
on it, but as
Yeah.
soon as she's drawing down on the principal,
Yeah.
it
What-
depends how long she's going to
Yeah,
live.
that's a
I'll
big
tell you,
thing.
one of the most interesting questions I get, though, is from the client themselves who has the debt. Can I put my stuff in a trust and protect it from my creditors?
Yeah, all the time you
And
hear
the
that.
answer
Yeah.
is maybe. There's in Michigan.
There's your kind of trust
Yeah.
sometimes.
Well, we
Yeah.
have. They say, well, can I just put it in an irrevocable trust? And the answer again
Maybe.
is maybe. There's a special kind of trust that we have in Michigan called the Domestic Asset Protection Trust, and it can protect your own assets from your own creditors. But there's basically
a big but.
it's a 2-year statute of limitations from the time you create it, and then it's a known or should have known.
So if you have no creditors
No problem.
and you put all your assets into that trust, and then you get creditors,
You're good.
you're good.
Yeah.
But no one ever comes to you in that situation. They
No,
always
they
come to
do.
you and say,
They
I have
do
all
all
these
the time.
creditors. So
Mine is that exact same trust is to protect it from the nursing home. And we had one lady come in and we set it all up, the irrevocable trust, And then she said, I don't want it. I want to stop it. This is BS. And I said, okay, great. We never moved forward with it. And then a year later, she came in. She let her son, who was a heroin addict, drive her car, and he couldn't get insurance. And he let his heroin addict girlfriend drive it, and she crossed center and just about killed an 18-year-old kid. In that case, everybody's
Owner
on
of the
the
car.
Owner of the car,
driver of the
single
that,
person.
you bring up a really good point, and I come across that all the time. If you own a car and you are letting your child drive it,
You look at it, he's looking in the camera directly at you.
I am. Or if you own a car and you're letting somebody else drive it.
No, the camera's looking directly at Brian.
Deep into your soul.
It is imperative that you carry enough insurance. The example that I use is when my daughter was younger, she couldn't get credit in her own name because she was a student.
Right.
So I leased a car for her. I insured it at her residence, and I carry an extra $3 million liability umbrella.
Cheap. They're so cheap.
In case
those
it costs, I think it costs $40 a month.
But all the time that issue comes up because
Yeah.
the parent doesn't realize the big mistake the parent makes is the parent titles the car in their name and leaves it to the kid to pay the insurance.
$25,000.
And then the kid doesn't make the insurance payment.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So there
Oh,
isn't enough
the
insurance.
lapsed.
Yeah, the insurance isn't enough. The
We just
insurance
talked
lapsed.
about it. Yeah.
And when that happens, the exposure is to the kid who was driving the car and the parent who owns the car.
Important point. If you have an umbrella, but the underlying policy that is the umbrella is covering as excess, if the underlying policy lapses,
You
They're
don't
gone.
have coverage.
Really?
you don't have coverage under your umbrella either.
Wow.
So people need to know that. Your example is one that we had talked about and we've done before, going back, is let's suppose you have the person who has assets and liabilities. ADAPT's not going to work because you can't get it in the 2 years. We've done it where I've worked with you a few years back, if you remember, where I said, let's do Medicaid planning for
Yeah.
them. Even though
It's
when we
always
did the
Medicaid
Medicaid
planning.
planning and we put it into an irrevocable trust, that would still have the
Yeah.
same 2-year fraudulent transfer issues, but it has a whole different flavor.
Yeah.
So we did that, threw everything into an irrevocable trust.
Yeah.
Nobody ever, and then
And what it
when
is,
they
too-
asked, they said, "Oh, but they did Medicaid planning." Nobody said, "Can we attack that trust?"
No one gets it easy either. It's
Outside
got to
of the
be a
box.
fight.
Yeah, we'll take a break.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Thav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Thav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Thav Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. I want to announce Thav Gross has opened a new office downriver in the Horizon Building on Eureka Road. So now we're in Flint, downriver, and also our home office in Bingham Farms. Remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. You can do it by Zoom conference, in the office, any way that works best for you. Just call 888-235-HELP or go to the website, thavgross.com, to sign up. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business law issues, elder law issues with Pat or Kelsey, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner. Again, sign up at lawandreality.com or thavgross.com or just call 888-235-HELP. Also, if you go to the website, you'll see there's free reports. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by Jeff Linden and myself. Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan. And The Retiree's Guide to Social Security by Pat Simasko. I want to thank our sponsors, Thav Gross, Simasko Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
The doctors ask if Dad's affairs are in order. Did Dad ever talk to you about what we should do in a situation like this?
Not a word.
What should we do?
We should have called Simasko.
Don't wait. All it takes is a quick call to Simasko Law or go online and fill out a request. We can get your needs and wishes set in stone so your family doesn't have to play a guessing game when the chips are down. Protect what matters. For power of attorney, call Simasko Law today.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're back. Did you
Yeah.
mention that you had another question?
Yeah, I got
You are
one.
just full of questions today.
You said you get the question all the time if the revocable trust is protected from creditors. I thought the big question would be, what's it like working for Ken Gross for all these years?
With me.
With
not
him.
For me.
Yeah,
With
him.
him.
Yeah, that's
What is it
That's a
like?
great question.
I
You
thought
know
it'd
what?
be like,
Most weeks, most days, it's an absolute pleasure.
how did you two meet?
Oh, how do we meet? You know, I'll tell you the story.
I was looking for
Not a
lawyer.
long story. Jesus
no, it's
Christ,
not-
we only
it's-
got
no.
6 minutes.
One of our
I'm more interested to say he said most weeks. What about the other weeks?
Yeah, what about the...
just as much as it's a pleasure, it's also a hindrance sometimes. No. One of our former business partners, David Einstandig, I met him in court one day. He asked me a question about how to handle a matter in front of a certain judge. And the next day I got a phone call saying, hey, are you interested in changing firms?
Oh,
And
We
almost
They
had,
headhunted
we had
you.
established a bankruptcy practice, and we were looking for a new head of the bankruptcy
Awesome.
department. And that's when we got together.
you
and
go.
coming up this late August, early September, it'll be 30 years here.
30 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I've only been here 20.
Right.
Well, that's because your hair
I
looks
got
better than mine.
36 now for a lawyer. I've been out 36.
I'm at 42.
33.
33. Oh, God.
All right, so that was your last question. Let's go. So what are the alternatives? Like, summarize. We've done some good case examples, but basically, if you can't file, why can't you file for bankruptcy? You're making too much money. You have too many assets.
So, start off with, there are two types of consumer bankruptcy, Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. You may not qualify for a Chapter 7 because you make too much money, or your liquidation analysis, you have assets that you would lose that you don't want to lose
Okay.
in a Chapter 7.
So what's your alternatives?
We can look at
You
Chapter
can still do a 13.
If you can qualify, if you have enough income to support a Chapter 13,
And if you can't do a 13?
then we look at debt resolution. Or we
Or-
look at making you completely uncollectible.
Which is kind of like what we were talking about before.
I mean, there
well,
are numerous ways to
You
make
can't
people-
go forever being uncollectible.
Oh,
if you're old,
you can
no,
do.
if you're older and you got in the sunset of your years, but if you're 35, you can't go for the next 35
You
years.
can.
But really,
Are you,
you have-
are you
let's say you have-
self-employed or are you working for somebody
I've got-
else?
do you want to?
You have that credit
It's a
card.
better
you have
course
the
of
credit
action.
card bill, and you've dragged it, and it's more than 6 years since the last payment you made. Statute of limitations.
There you go.
Ends.
Now, where you run into a problem with that is
Is when you make a payment.
is
that
if they
extends
sue
it.
you. So, in Michigan, if you don't make a voluntary payment on a debt and you go 6 years, they can't collect from you unless you make a voluntary payment. If they sue you within that 6-year period, then they have 10 years to collect that
Then
judgment.
they get a
Then the
judgment,
judgment.
and it's renewable
What's
for
the
another 10.
percentage of credit cards will actively go and sue you?
I would tell you that it's in my
What would
gut
what's
feel.
your gut?
I would say 30%.
30%.
I would have
Maybe-
said higher. I'd
maybe
say
40.
45 to 50.
Has it changed over
But
the
it
last
depends on
year?
the amount. If the amount is over $10,000, it's a much greater percentage.
Yeah.
If the amount's under $5,000, it's a far lower
So let's
percentage.
ask this then. So the credit card company never sues you. They just sell that debt to
No,
the
this-
next
no,
company.
no, they do sue.
Oh,
No,
they're
they do
actually
sue,
doing it?
absolutely.
More often than not, they do sue. Usually, if they shift it to collection agents, if the collections agency does not collect, it reverts back to the credit card
They give it
company.
back.
I'll tell
and
you
then they
right now,
sue.
the one that sues the most, Capital One.
Which
Capital
is
One.
now
Discover,
Discover
and
and
Capital,
Capital
One.
One.
I see
Capital One-
lawsuits for them for
Capital
everything.
One has always been since the financial crisis, the most aggressive, quote unquote, nasty ones to deal with when we're trying to resolve debt. And when I heard that they were merging with Discover, I said, "Oh,
Here we go."
darn!" I mean, it's like, and I always,
Well, Discover was no
you know what always,
picnic
So
to deal
here's
with.
the
either.
I
question then.
cringe when I see the Capital One
Here's the
commercials
question.
with all the stars saying how great
It's
it
like
is.
Allstate Insurance. Sometimes you get the hand, sometimes you just get the finger. That's
That's a good one.
So out of that $10,000 debt, how much you think is actually the Starbucks coffee that they bought? How much is built up interest overall?
So,
Oh, what? How much is
How much is
interest?
it? $50 and now it's $10,000.
If you look at it,
accumulated?
if the debt's been out there for a
Yeah,
long
yeah.
period of time, it's
Yeah.
probably 90% interest.
So
But if the
remember
debt's
this.
only out there for a year, then it's mostly principal.
yeah, I mean, a lot of it accrues at 30% default rate. So
That's
If
what
you
it
add
is.
up the amount of interest you paid before you finally stop
That's
paying,
a most expensive
you've paid
coffee
the principal. Oh, it is.
ever.
Absolutely always is.
yeah, it's,
But there's opportunity to fix the problem. So no matter whether or not you qualify for a bankruptcy or don't qualify for a bankruptcy, need to do debt resolution or we need to make you uncollectible, the opportunity exists to fix the problem
Yeah.
as long as you address
and the need
problem.
to fix it. It's just you hit on the right point, which we didn't have time to really dig into. It's paying all that interest, all of those years. That money
Over and
should be going
over.
into your savings account and growing for retirement. If you've paid interest, you got nothing
Yeah,
for it,
yeah.
other than you got to get the money earlier to buy the thing that's no longer around anyway. Paying interest is cancer to a good retirement. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.